Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel, U.S. Immigration News. We hope you're doing great. In this video, we're going to talk about Trump urges Supreme Court to review birthright citizenship restrictions. Immigration issues are intensifying across the U.S., touching the courts, detention centers, and schools. The Supreme Court faces petitions on birthright citizenship restrictions. Meanwhile, Florida's ICE prison raises alarm over missing detainees, and Iowa grapples with its superintendent's arrest. If you are interested in this topic, please pay attention and watch the video through to the end to get all the information. Please hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to push the notification bell for an upcoming video. So, without any further delay, let's jump into the video. The Justice Department is asking the Supreme Court to settle the constitutionality of President Trump's executive order restricting birthright citizenship. It brings the battle back to the court just months after its 6-3 conservative majority sided with the administration by ruling that judges could not issue universal injunctions blocking the birthright citizenship order nationwide. That decision did not address the constitutionality of Trump's directive. Friday's petitions tee up the question, urging the justices to bless the president's appending of conventional interpretation of the 14th Amendment. The lower court's decisions invalidated a policy of prime importance to the president and his administration in a manner that undermines our border security. Those decisions confer, without lawful justification, the privilege of American citizenship on hundreds of thousands of unqualified people. Solicitor General D. John Sauer wrote, "The petitions have not yet been docketed, but the Hill reviewed copies provided by the Justice Department." Signed on Trump's first day in office, his executive order curbs birthright citizenship for children born on U.S. soil if they don't have at least one parent with permanent legal status. Every court that has directly confronted its constitutionality has found it violates the 14th Amendment's guarantee of birthright citizenship, which has long been held to include only narrow exceptions, like for the children of diplomats and enemy invaders. Friday's filing marks the second time the administration has brought the legal battle to the Supreme Court. In late June, the court agreed to wipe several universal injunctions that judges had issued blocking Trump's executive order nationwide, saying those orders swept too far. But the High Court still left the door open for nationwide orders in some cases, including via class action lawsuits. Plaintiffs have since convinced several judges to do so, keeping Trump's order from going into effect anywhere. The administration is appealing two such cases to the Supreme Court. The Justice Department seeks review of a Seattle-based appeals panel's ruling in July that sided with a group of Democratic-led states and blocked Trump's order nationwide. The administration is also appealing a similar order from a judge in New Hampshire issued in response to a lawsuit filed by the American Civil Liberties Union. The Justice Department wants the justices to take the case up for their upcoming term, so a decision can land by next summer. The Supreme Court has regularly sided with the Trump administration in emergency appeals, but is yet to fully resolve a challenge to a major administration policy on its normal merits docket. Taking up the birthright citizenship order would add to arguments already scheduled this fall on the legality of Trump's tariffs and his ability to fire independent agency leaders without cause. Mystery deepens. Hundreds of immigrants disappear from infamous Florida ICE prison Alligator Alcatraz. Florida's remote detention center in the Everglades, known widely as Alligator Alcatraz, is once again under the spotlight. Reports are mounting that hundreds of detainees who were once inside can no longer be traced. Families, lawyers, and immigrant advocates are sounding the alarm, warning that people appear to have simply disappeared from official records. Alligator Alcatraz, a detention center built rapidly on a former airstrip in the Everglades and endorsed by President Donald Trump during its inauguration in early July 2025, has become known as a black hole in the immigration system. The American Civil Liberties Union and immigrant advocacy groups highlight that detainees are effectively off the radar, which obstructs due process and attorney-client communication. There have been multiple lawsuits against the facility, challenging Florida's authority to detain immigrants there and raising issues of poor conditions and mistreatment. Following a judge's ruling to dismantle the camp, now stayed by an appeals court, the detainee population at Alligator Alcatraz has significantly decreased. State officials and DHS have stated the facility would soon be empty, with transfers to other centers and some deportations occurring. However, it is unclear how many detainees have been deported or transferred, and reports indicate pressure on detainees to sign voluntary deportations. Incidents such as accidental deportation of detainees have been reported, adding to confusion. The Department of Homeland Security claims detainees have opportunities to communicate with attorneys and family, and that the number of detainees fluctuates due to deportations and transfers. Nevertheless, advocacy groups criticize ICE for not promptly updating detainee locations and maintaining transparency. The lack of clear information has caused distress among families and legal representatives, with some attorneys needing days to schedule visits. Why did immigrants vanish from Alligator Alcatraz? The story begins quietly in the wild heart of the Florida Everglades. There, a new immigration detention center rose up almost overnight. Locals started calling it Alligator Alcatraz. Its official name hardly mattered. What people saw and heard mattered more. What next for Alligator Alcatraz and its missing detainees? As the summer closed, officials announced the site would soon be empty. News crews showed up hoping for interviews. Protesters and faith leaders gathered at the gates, lighting candles for those lost in the shuffle. In courtrooms and city halls, debate raged over future detention in America and the growing number of people swept away by changes in policy. What stands out, in the end, is how quickly lives can disappear from view. When records vanish and systems close their doors, real people are left searching for hope. The fate of those who pass through Alligator Alcatraz is still unknown to many families. Some attorneys say they may never know what happened to all of them. This story isn't just about one controversial building in the swamp. It's about the ongoing struggle over borders, belonging, and basic human rights. What happens when the system loses track of people it was supposed to keep safe no matter where they came from or why they came here? How long will families and advocates go on searching for answers that may never come? This mystery, born in the isolation of the Everglades, now follows a trail across the nation, a trail fated by time, confusion, and silence. For those who care about justice, the next chapter is clear. The search must continue until every missing name is found, and every voice has the dignity to be heard. Des Moines revokes education license of school superintendent arrested by ICE. The superintendent of Iowa's largest school district has had his education license revoked by state education officials following his arrest last week by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents. Ian Roberts, the superintendent of Des Moines Public Schools, was detained by ICE agents on Friday morning in what the Department of Homeland Security described as a targeted enforcement operation. In a statement to The Guardian last week, DHS officials said Roberts, who is a native of Guyana, was arrested because he had a final order of removal and no work authorization. ICE officials also said that Roberts has existing weapon possession charges from February 5, 2020, and he entered the U.S. in 1999 on a student visa and was given a final order of removal by an immigration judge in May of 2024. ICE officials said that when Roberts was arrested on Friday, he was found in possession of a loaded handgun, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives is investigating how he obtained it. Following his arrest, Iowa's Board of Educational Examiners appears to have revoked Roberts' education license. According to the board's website, the revocation was issued on Sunday. In a letter dated September 28th and addressed to Roberts, the board's executive director, Michael Cavan, wrote that their office had received information that you no longer possess legal presence in the United States. Therefore, you are not able to hold a license issued by the Iowa Board of Educational Examiners. The letter states that the license issued to Roberts is no longer valid and that his authority to serve as superintendent is revoked. The letter states that Roberts has until October 28th to appeal the decision. On Saturday, the Des Moines School Board voted to place Roberts on administrative leave. Roberts, 54, began his term as superintendent of Des Moines schools in July 2023. Prior to joining DMPS, he served as superintendent of the Mill Creek Township School District in Pennsylvania for 3 years, according to the Iowa District's 2023 announcement of Roberts' appointment. The announcement also stated that Roberts was born to immigrant parents from Guyana and spent most of his formative years in Brooklyn. On Friday, Jackie Norris, the Des Moines School Board president, said that Roberts has been an integral part of our school community. The district also said in a statement, Roberts has a previous firearm charge related to a hunting rifle, which he disclosed to the DMPS board during the hiring process. He provided sufficient context and explanation of the situation to move forward in the hiring process. They added, he has also spoken publicly about this experience. The district said on Saturday that everything the district has on file indicates Dr. Robert Sick affirmed that he was a citizen who was eligible to work for the school district, and a comprehensive background check was completed as part of the hiring process. On Monday, the Des Moines School District said in a news release it had learned the Iowa Board of Educational Examiners had officially revoked Roberts' education license of practice in the state of Iowa, and the school board is now scheduled to take action to place Roberts on unpaid administrative. This action is required by law, the statement added. Norris said in the release that new information and confirmed facts will continue to inform our decisions as we develop a path forward. Two things can be true at the same time. Dr. Roberts was an effective and well-respected leader, and there are serious questions related to his citizenship and ability to legally perform his duties as superintendent, Norris added. In the news release, the board also said it had reached out to Roberts' counsel and hopes to soon have more information that will guide the board's next steps. A Des Moines Public Schools Board special meeting is scheduled for Monday afternoon to consider new information that has been learned relating to the detainment of Superintendent Dr. Ian Roberts. According to the Des Moines Register, Roberts is currently being held at Woodbury County Jail. This video highlights how deeply immigration issues are reshaping legal, social, and educational spheres. From courtroom battles to detention, controversies, and leadership challenges, the nation continues to confront difficult questions of law, rights, and accountability. That is all for today in this video. What are your thoughts on this? Please let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching the entire video. Hopefully, the information is useful to you. See you later in the next video. Till then, take care.
Trump urges Supreme Court to review Birthright Citizenship restrictions. Immigration issues are intensifying across the US, from the Supreme Court to detention centers and schools. The Justice Department has a petition at the Supreme Court rule on the immigration issues are intensifying across the US, from the Supreme Court to detention centers and schools. The Justice Department has a passionate the Supreme Court to rule on the constitutionality of a President Trump executive order restricting birthright citizenship. Lower courts have repeatedly struck it down as violating the 14th Amendment, but the administration is pushing for a final decision by next summer. Meanwhile, Florida's controversial ICE facility, known as Alligator Alcatraz, is under fire after reports of hundreds of missing detectives, raising concern about transparency, forced repression, and human rights. In Iowa, Des Moines Superintendent Dr. Ian Roberts, arrested by ICE over immigration violations and firearm charges, has had his education license revoked. These developments underscore how immigration debates are reshaping law, detention, and education nationwide.